Remember walking into a Forever 21? The loud music, the endless racks of trendy clothes, and prices so low you could buy a whole new outfit for less than a movie ticket. For years, it was the undisputed king of fast fashion, a massive empire built on cheap, trendy clothing. But then, almost overnight, the music stopped. In 2019, Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy, closing hundreds of stores and leaving shoppers and industry experts stunned. What went wrong? How did this retail giant, a staple in every mall, fall so far so fast? The story of Forever 21's rise and fall is more than just a business case study. It's a cautionary tale about losing your way, the dangers of growing too big too fast, and the fatal mistake of trying to be everything to everyone. It all started in 1984. A Korean immigrant couple, Do-won Chang and Jin-suk Chang, opened a small 900 square foot clothing store in Los Angeles. They called it Fashion 21. Their strategy was simple but brilliant. Spot the latest trends from Korea, produce them quickly and cheaply, and sell them to the fashion-forward Korean-American community. It was an instant hit. They were making $700,000 in their first year alone. Seeing the potential, they began expanding, changing the name to Forever 21, a name that promised eternal youth and style. Their target audience was clear: teenagers and young adults who wanted to look like they just stepped out of a magazine, but on a babysitter's budget. And for a long time, it worked like a charm. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Forever 21 was unstoppable. They mastered the art of fast fashion before it was even a buzzword. New shipments arrived daily, creating a sense of urgency and a treasure hunt atmosphere. You had to buy that top now, because it might not be there tomorrow. This constant rotation of styles kept customers coming back again and again. They expanded aggressively, opening massive flagship stores in prime locations like Times Square. At its peak, Forever 21 had over 800 stores in 57 countries and was pulling in over $4 billion in annual sales. The Changs became billionaires. They were the embodiment of the American dream. But beneath the surface, cracks were starting to form. And the biggest crack was their ambition. As they grew, Forever 21 started to lose its identity. They weren't just for teens anymore. They launched lines for menswear, plus-size clothing, maternity wear, and even a collection for young girls. On paper, this sounds like a smart move to diversify your customer base, right? But in reality, it was a disaster. They were trying to be Zara, H&M, Old Navy, and a children's store all at once. The stores became chaotic and overwhelming. You find a crop top next to a business casual blazer and a sequin dress next to a toddler's t-shirt. The original teen customer, their bread and butter, started to feel lost. The brand that was once cool and edgy now felt confusing. It felt like it was for everyone, which meant it was for no one in particular. This identity crisis was happening at the worst possible time. The retail landscape was changing dramatically. The rise of e-commerce giants like Amazon and new, ultra-fast online fashion players like Fashion Nova, Boohoo, and Azos changed the game completely. These online native brands were even faster and cheaper than Forever 21. They could take a trend from the runway to a customer's doorstep in a matter of weeks, using social media and influencer marketing to connect directly with their target audience in a way Forever 21 never could. While Forever 21 was still pouring millions into huge, expensive physical stores, their competition was nimble, digital, and hyper-focused. A teenager could now scroll through Instagram, see an influencer wearing a cool outfit from Fashion Nova, and have it delivered the next day without ever leaving their room. Why bother going to a messy, oversized Forever 21 store? The brand's image also began to take a hit. For years, Forever 21 was plagued by lawsuits. They were notorious for allegedly stealing designs from both high-end designers like Diane von Furstenberg and small, independent artists. This practice, while common in fast fashion, earned them a reputation for being unoriginal and unethical. Furthermore, a new generation of consumers, Gen Z, was emerging, and they cared about more than just low prices. They were socially and environmentally conscious. They started questioning the disposable nature of fast fashion, the poor labor conditions, the environmental impact of producing so much cheap clothing that often ended up in landfills after just a few wears. Suddenly, Forever 21's business model didn't just seem outdated. It seemed irresponsible. Brands that emphasize sustainability and ethical production, like Everlane and Reformation, started gaining traction. Forever 21, the king of throwaway clothes, was on the wrong side of this cultural shift. The final nail in the coffin was their massive physical footprint. While other retailers were scaling back their brick-and-mortar stores and investing in their online presence, Forever 21 did the opposite. They doubled down on massive multi-level stores and expensive malls. Some of their stores were over 100,000 square feet, the size of a department store. These behemoths were incredibly expensive to rent, staff, and stock. And as foot traffic in malls declined, these giant stores became giant liabilities, empty cathedrals of fast fashion. They were stuck with huge overhead costs and a business model built for a world that no longer existed. The bankruptcy filing in 2019 was the inevitable result of all these factors. It was a perfect storm of a diluted brand identity, fierce online competition, a negative public image, and an outdated real estate strategy. They tried to appeal to everyone, and in the end, they appealed to no one. Their core customer had moved on to savvier, more targeted online brands, and potential new customers were turned off by the brand's lack of focus and controversial reputation. So, what can we learn from the spectacular collapse of Forever 21? The biggest lesson is the importance of knowing who you are as a brand. You can't be everything to everyone. Successful brands have a clear identity and a deep understanding of their target customer. Zara targets the trendy professional. Fashion Nova targets the glamorous, social media savvy young woman. Forever 21 lost that clarity. They chased growth at the expense of their brand soul. The story also highlights the absolute necessity of adapting to changing times. The world moved online, and Forever 21 was left behind, weighed down by its enormous physical stores. The culture shifted towards sustainability, and Forever 21's model of disposable clothing became a liability. They failed to innovate, failed to listen, and failed to evolve. Today, Forever 21 still exists, but as a shadow of its former self. It was acquired by a group of brand management companies and now operates on a much smaller scale, mostly through partnerships inside other stores and a more focused online presence. It's a humbling end for a brand that wants to find fashion for a generation. The story of Forever 21 serves as a powerful reminder for any business. Stay true to your core identity, know your customer, and never ever stop evolving. Because in the fast-paced world of retail, the moment you stand still, you start to fall behind. And once you lose your way, it's a long, hard fall to the bottom. Thanks for watching. What are your memories of shopping at Forever 21? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the brands that shape our world. See you next time.